There are people in this world who smile in front of you but secretly enjoy your pain. There are people who drain your energy, destroy your confidence, and constantly try to pull you into negativity. Some people do this through anger, some through jealousy, and some through manipulation. And one of the biggest mistakes many good-hearted people make is that they think responding with more anger will solve the problem. But my brothers and sisters, when you fight darkness with darkness, the entire room becomes dark. One of the most powerful psychological ways to defeat toxic people is to protect your peace without becoming toxic yourself. Because the moment you become like them, you have already lost the battle. Toxic people feed on reactions. They want to see you angry. They want to see you emotionally broken. They want to control your mood, your thoughts, and your peace. The more you react emotionally to every insult, every comment, every act of disrespect, the more power you hand over to them. And this is why emotional discipline is a strength. Remaining calm is not weakness. Silence is not weakness. Walking away from unnecessary arguments is not weakness. In fact, sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who refuses to fight. There are people who will test your patience intentionally. They know exactly which words hurt you. They know exactly how to provoke you. They study your emotions carefully because controlling your emotions gives them satisfaction. But a believer understands something very powerful. Not every battle deserves your energy. Some arguments are simply traps. Some people are not looking for understanding. They are looking for chaos. And this is why wisdom is so important. When someone throws poison at you, you do not drink it to prove a point. You protect yourself from it. Likewise, when toxic people throw negativity at you, you do not absorb it into your heart. You protect your peace. Many people today are emotionally exhausted because they are constantly trying to defend themselves before people who already decided to misunderstand them. They keep explaining themselves to toxic individuals who are committed to twisting every word. My brothers and sisters, sometimes silence speaks louder than 1,000 explanations. Sometimes your calmness irritates toxic people more than your anger ever could. You see, toxic people often expect you to react emotionally because that is how they maintain control. When they insult you and you explode in anger, they feel powerful. When they gossip about you and you lose sleep over it, they feel victorious. But when you remain calm, when you refuse to let their negativity enter your soul, suddenly they lose their influence over you. A heart connected to Allah understands that peace is priceless. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every insult deserves revenge. Some people are sent into your life not to break you, but to teach you emotional maturity. Allah may allow difficult people around you so you can learn patience, self-control, wisdom, and strength. And let me tell you something very important. Protecting your peace does not mean you become cold-hearted. It does not mean you hate people. It does not mean you become arrogant. It simply means you stop allowing negativity to live rent-free inside your heart. There is a difference between kindness and emotional slavery. Some people are kind to the point where they destroy themselves trying to please everyone. They tolerate constant disrespect because they fear losing people. But if keeping certain people in your life is costing you your mental peace, your happiness, and your connection with Allah, then distance is not cruelty. Sometimes distance is mercy. Even our hearts need protection. If you leave your door open all night, harmful things may enter your home. In the same way, if you allow every toxic word, every hateful opinion, and every act of negativity into your heart, eventually your soul becomes heavy. You begin overthinking everything. You lose confidence. You become emotionally tired. This is why protecting your inner peace is necessary. And one of the signs of emotional intelligence is learning when to stay silent. Not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that some people are committed to misunderstanding you. There are individuals who do not want solutions. They want reactions. They want drama. They want conflict. And the moment you stop giving them access to your emotions, they begin losing control over you. Sometimes people think defeating toxic people means humiliating them, exposing them, or hurting them back. No, the greatest victory is refusing to let them change your character. Imagine someone hurting you, and instead of becoming bitter, you become wiser. Instead of becoming hateful, you become stronger. Instead of losing yourself, you grow closer to Allah. That is real victory, because at the end of the day, toxic people can only destroy your peace if you hand it to them. They can only control your emotions if you surrender your heart to their behavior, and this is why self-control is power. Patience is power. Silence can be power. There will always be difficult people in life, at work, in friendships, sometimes even within families. You cannot control everyone's behavior, but you can control your response. And your response determines whether you live with peace or constant emotional chaos. Do not allow someone else's darkness to make you abandon your light. Protect your peace, guard your heart, and never let toxic people turn you into someone you were never meant to be. Because true strength is remaining peaceful in a world full of provocation. One of the most dangerous things toxic people do is that they slowly convince you that your happiness depends on their approval. They make you feel as though your worth is connected to what they say about you, how they treat you, or whether they accept you. And sadly, many people spend years emotionally trapped because they have handed the keys of their heart to people who never deserved that power in the first place. My brothers and sisters, one of the strongest psychological ways to defeat toxic people is to stop giving them the power to control your emotions. Because the moment someone can control your emotions, they begin controlling your peace, your confidence, your decisions, and eventually even your identity. There are people who wake up every morning worried about what others think of them. They are constantly trying to please everyone, constantly seeking validation, constantly changing themselves so they can be accepted. They become emotionally exhausted because no matter how much they sacrifice, toxic people are never satisfied. Today they criticize your appearance. Tomorrow they criticize your choices. The next day they criticize your personality. Toxic people will always find something negative because negativity lives inside them. And this is why you must understand something very deeply. Not everyone's opinion deserves a place in your heart. Some people speak from wisdom, but others speak from jealousy, insecurity, hatred, or personal frustration. If someone is drowning emotionally, sometimes they try to pull others underwater with them. When your self-worth depends entirely on people, your emotions become fragile. One compliment makes you happy, one insult destroys your day, one moment of praise lifts your confidence, and one negative comment makes you question your value. This is emotional slavery. A believer cannot live like this. Your worth was given to you by Allah long before people formed opinions about you. The problem today is that many people know their value based on social approval, but not based on their relationship with Allah. If people praise them, they feel important. If people ignore them, they feel worthless. If people criticize them, they begin hating themselves. But my brothers and sisters, human beings are inconsistent. The same people praising you today may criticize you tomorrow. If your confidence is built on people, your peace will always remain unstable. And this is exactly how toxic people manipulate others psychologically. They use guilt, fear, emotional pressure, and criticism to weaken your confidence. Some people constantly remind you of your mistakes just to make you feel small. Others make you feel guilty whenever you try to protect yourself. Some even act hurt simply because you started setting boundaries. They know that if they can make you emotionally weak, they can maintain control over you. But emotional freedom begins the day you stop needing constant approval from everyone around you. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your growth. Some people become uncomfortable when they see you healing because your healing reminds them of their own brokenness. Some people prefer the old version of you, the version that tolerated disrespect, remained silent during pain, and sacrificed everything just to keep others happy. But growth changes people, healing changes people, and when you begin valuing yourself properly, toxic individuals often become upset because they no longer have easy access to your emotions. You see, confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is quietly knowing who you are without needing everyone else to confirm it. It is understanding that your value does not decrease because someone failed to appreciate you. A diamond does not become worthless because a blind person cannot see its beauty. And one of the greatest forms of emotional maturity is learning not to absorb every negative word spoken about you. Some people will misunderstand you no matter how pure your intentions are. Some people already created false versions of you in their minds. If you spend your entire life trying to correct every misunderstanding, you will exhaust yourself emotionally. There are people who are addicted to pleasing others because they fear rejection. They remain in toxic friendships, toxic environments, even toxic relationships simply because they are afraid of being disliked. But let me tell you something powerful. Peace is more valuable than forced acceptance. Losing toxic people is not always a loss. Sometimes it is protection from Allah, and when you stop allowing toxic individuals to control your emotions, something beautiful begins to happen. You stop overreacting. You stop chasing people who disrespect you. You stop begging for attention from those who ignore your worth. You begin understanding that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your heart. Many people today smile publicly while suffering privately because they gave too much emotional power to others. A single message ruins their mood. A small criticism destroys their confidence. Someone ignoring them makes them feel unwanted. This happens because they built their emotional stability on human beings instead of building it upon Allah. A heart connected to Allah becomes emotionally stronger. Why? Because you begin realizing that human opinions cannot change the value Allah has placed within you. People may reject you, but Allah knows your sincerity. People may misunderstand you, but Allah understands your pain. People may insult you unfairly, but Allah sees every silent tear you cry, and this realization changes everything psychologically. You stop seeking validation from every person you meet. You stop feeling destroyed by criticism. You stop allowing toxic individuals to decide whether you deserve happiness. Because true confidence comes from knowing that your identity is not defined by people's opinions. Your identity is defined by your character, your sincerity, your faith, and your relationship with Allah. And perhaps one of the most freeing feelings in life is reaching a point where toxic people no longer have the ability to disturb your inner peace. Their words lose power, their manipulation loses control, their negativity no longer enters your soul because you finally understand your worth. Never hand your emotional peace to people who never cared about protecting it. Because the strongest heart is the one that finds its value in Allah, not in the unstable opinions of people. One of the greatest misunderstandings many people have is believing that being a good person means tolerating every form of disrespect. They think kindness means staying silent while others emotionally destroy them. They think patience means allowing people to continuously hurt them without limits, but my brothers and sisters, kindness without wisdom can become self-destruction. Islam teaches us mercy, compassion, forgiveness, and beautiful character, but at the same time, Islam also teaches dignity, self-respect, and wisdom. You are not required to become a punching bag for toxic people in order to prove that you are kind-hearted. There is a difference between forgiving someone and allowing them unlimited access to hurt you repeatedly. And this is why one of the most powerful psychological ways to defeat toxic people is to respond with wisdom, boundaries, and good character. Notice the balance here. Wisdom without character can become arrogance. Character without boundaries can become weakness. But when wisdom, boundaries, and good character come together, you become emotionally strong without becoming cruel. Toxic people often expect two reactions from you. Either they expect you to explode emotionally, or they expect you to remain weak and silent forever. They are comfortable when they can control you through fear, guilt, manipulation, or emotional pressure. But healthy boundaries confuse toxic people because boundaries remove their control. You see, some people become upset the moment you start saying no. Not because you are wrong, but because they were benefiting from your inability to protect yourself. The moment you begin valuing your peace, setting limits, and refusing disrespect, toxic individuals often accuse you of changing. And they are correct. You are changing. You are growing emotionally. You are learning that protecting your heart is not selfishness. There are people who only love you when you are useful to them. As long as you sacrifice your happiness for theirs, they smile at you. As long as you tolerate disrespect quietly, they call you good. But the moment you set boundaries, suddenly they call you rude, arrogant, or distant. Why? Because toxic people often become angry when they lose access to controlling your emotions. And this is why wisdom is necessary. You must learn when to speak, when to remain silent, and when to walk away completely. Not every situation requires confrontation. Sometimes silence is wiser, sometimes distance is wiser, sometimes a calm response carries more power than a loud argument. Many people destroy themselves emotionally because they keep trying to fix people who are committed to remaining toxic. They spend years explaining, begging, tolerating, and sacrificing, hoping the other person will finally change. But my brothers and sisters, you cannot heal someone who refuses to acknowledge their sickness. You cannot force maturity upon someone who is comfortable with hurting others. At some point, wisdom requires acceptance that not everyone will appreciate your kindness. Acceptance that some people only create chaos wherever they go. Acceptance that some hearts are filled with jealousy, anger, pride, and negativity. And protecting yourself from such people does not make you hateful. It makes you wise, and let us understand something very important. Boundaries are not about controlling others. Boundaries are about controlling your own access. You are not telling people how to behave. You are deciding what behavior you will no longer tolerate in your life. There are people who constantly disrespect you, then become shocked when you create distance. There are people who continuously manipulate your emotions, then act innocent when you finally protect yourself. But emotional maturity means you stop feeling guilty for choosing peace over chaos. Some individuals are experts at emotional manipulation. They twist your words, make you question yourself, and constantly make you feel responsible for their bad behavior. Even when they hurt you, somehow they make themselves appear like the victim. This is why wisdom matters so much. A wise person does not get trapped in endless emotional games, and one of the signs of emotional intelligence is remaining respectful even while setting firm boundaries. You do not need to scream to prove your strength. You do not need to insult people to defend yourself. Calmness with firmness is far more powerful than anger with chaos. The believer understands that good character is not weakness. In fact, maintaining good character while protecting your peace is one of the highest forms of strength. Anyone can react with anger, anyone can insult back, anyone can become toxic after being hurt, but it takes real maturity to stay dignified even in painful situations. And this is where many people fail psychologically. Toxic people hurt them, so they begin copying toxic behavior themselves. They become bitter, harsh, suspicious, and emotionally cold toward everyone. But my brothers and sisters, do not allow painful people to transform your heart into something ugly. There is nothing powerful about becoming cruel. True power is remaining kind without becoming weak. True power is protecting your dignity without destroying your character. True power is walking away from negativity while still maintaining your humanity. Sometimes the most powerful sentence you can say is a calm and respectful enough. Enough disrespect. Enough manipulation, enough emotional exhaustion, not with hatred, not with revenge, but with wisdom and self-respect. And remember this carefully, forgiveness does not always require reconnection. You can forgive someone internally for the sake of Allah, while still understanding that they are unhealthy for your peace. Many people confuse forgiveness with allowing repeated access. No, Islam encourages forgiveness, but it does not command you to remain trapped in emotional harm forever. Some people only learn your value after losing access to you. Some only realize your kindness after your absence. But even if they never realize it, your responsibility is not to force people to appreciate you. Your responsibility is to protect your heart and maintain your character for the sake of Allah. Because in the end, wisdom is not about winning arguments. Wisdom is about protecting your soul from becoming poisoned by the darkness of others. And the strongest people are not those who control others, but those who control themselves while walking away with dignity. Sometimes the deepest wounds are not physical. They are the wounds nobody sees, the silent pain caused by betrayal, manipulation, rejection, humiliation, and emotional exhaustion. Toxic people can damage a person slowly, not through one big action, but through constant negativity over time. A harsh word here, emotional manipulation there, constant criticism, constant draining of your energy until eventually a person begins doubting themselves. They begin losing confidence, losing peace, even losing hope, and this is why healing your heart is one of the most important psychological ways to defeat toxic people. Because if you do not heal properly, the pain they caused you will continue controlling your life long after they are gone. Many people escape toxic environments physically, but emotionally they remain trapped for years. The toxic words continue replaying inside their minds. The pain continues affecting their confidence. The fear continues affecting their relationships. Some people smile publicly while carrying heavy emotional scars privately. And perhaps the saddest part is that many begin believing the negative things toxic people said about them. My brothers and sisters, never allow broken people to define your worth. There are individuals who speak from their own darkness. They insult others because they hate themselves internally. They attack others because they are emotionally wounded themselves. Hurt people often hurt people. But just because someone throws poison at you does not mean you must drink it. Healing begins the moment you stop attaching your identity to the pain others caused you. Some people spend years carrying emotional damage because they replay painful memories repeatedly. They constantly revisit betrayal, disrespect, humiliation, and rejection in their minds. Slowly, the heart becomes tired. The soul becomes heavy, and Satan loves this condition because hopelessness weakens a person spiritually and emotionally. But listen carefully, your past pain is not your final identity. What happened to you does not define who you are. A toxic person may have hurt your heart, but they do not own your future unless you continue surrendering your peace to the memory of what they did. And this is why reconnecting with Allah is so powerful during emotional healing. Because people may fail to understand your pain completely, but Allah understands every silent tear, every sleepless night, every hidden struggle you never explained to anyone. There are moments when the world becomes emotionally overwhelming, people disappoint you, trust breaks, kindness gets abused, you begin questioning yourself, you begin wondering why certain people treated you unfairly despite your sincerity. And during such moments, the heart desperately needs spiritual healing, not just emotional distraction. You see, many people try to heal through temporary escapes. Some bury themselves in entertainment. Some distract themselves endlessly. Some pretend they are fine while suffering internally. But true healing begins when the heart reconnects with its creator. Because Allah is the only one capable of repairing the parts of you that people broke. And one of the most beautiful things about healing through faith is that it rebuilds yourself, worth slowly and gently. You begin understanding that your value never depended on how toxic people treated you. Just because someone failed to appreciate your kindness does not mean your kindness had no value. Sometimes toxic individuals make good people feel weak simply because they were soft-hearted. They mock kindness. They manipulate sincerity. They take advantage of forgiveness. Eventually, the victim begins feeling ashamed of being a good person. But my brothers and sisters, never become embarrassed of your good heart. In a world filled with cruelty, remaining sincere is a strength. However, healing also requires wisdom. Healing does not mean becoming naive again. Healing means learning lessons without becoming bitter. There is a difference between protecting your heart and closing your heart completely. Some people become emotionally cold after experiencing toxic relationships. They stop trusting everyone. They isolate themselves emotionally. They build walls around their hearts because they fear being hurt again. But Islam does not teach us to live with hatred. Islam teaches balance. Protect yourself, but do not lose your humanity. And perhaps one of the hardest parts of healing is forgiving yourself. Many people blame themselves for staying too long in toxic situations. They replay their mistakes constantly. Why did I trust them? Why did I allow this? Why didn't I walk away sooner? My brothers and sisters, do not destroy yourself with endless regret. You made decisions with the level of understanding you had at that time. Healing requires self-compassion too. Allah did not create you to live permanently broken. Every painful experience carries lessons. Sometimes toxic people teach you the importance of boundaries. Sometimes betrayal teaches you emotional maturity. Sometimes hardship pushes you closer to Allah in ways comfort never could. And many times the people who hurt you unintentionally become the reason you discover your own strength. But let me mention something very important. Healing is not always quick. Emotional wounds take time. Some days you feel strong. Other days old memories return unexpectedly. Sometimes a person's words still hurt years later. This does not mean you are weak, it means you are human. Even deep wounds on the body require time before they stop hurting completely. So be patient with yourself during healing. Surround yourself with people who bring peace to your soul. Positive company matters deeply. Some people drain your energy every time you speak to them, while others remind you of Allah, encourage your growth, and make your heart feel lighter. Choose carefully who you allow near your soul, and never underestimate the healing power of prayer. There are pains no human being can fully remove. There are wounds hidden so deeply that even words cannot describe them properly. But when a servant raises their hands sincerely before Allah, healing begins in ways beyond human understanding. Toxic people want to leave you emotionally destroyed. They want you to remain angry, insecure, bitter, and broken. Do not give them that victory. The greatest revenge is not revenge at all. The greatest revenge is healing so completely that their darkness no longer controls your light. Become peaceful again, smile genuinely again, trust Allah again, rebuild yourself again, grow stronger again. Because the people who tried to break you should never become the reason you forget the beauty Allah placed within your soul.